During your interview with Michael Proctor, did you disclose to Trooper Proctor that you had a pre-existing relationship with any member of the Albert family?
No.
I hit him. Anyway, calm down, lady. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Really? Really? You just brushed it off? Oh my god, she looks so guilty. She knows she's lying and she hates herself for it. It's written all over her face and there's nothing she can do.
No.
No?
Question.
Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. Folks, today we are going to continue and conclude with the evil, the menace, the ghost of Christmas Forward? I have no idea. Katie McLaughlin. She's not a firefighter. She is something. You tell me in the comments below. There's a word to describe her that I just can't think of. She's so ice cold, emotionless, dead inside. One of the most terrifying witnesses. You would think Brian Albert would be the most terrifying. Brian Albert looks like your favorite uncle next to her. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that kind of uncle. I mean legitimately, like, hey, Uncle Petey, how you doing? Long time no see. And he's got jokes for days compared to this woman. I don't know what it is. There's something wrong with her mentally, like physically. I don't know. You tell me. Let's get into it.
No.
No?
Question.
You just looked at photographs of you.
I just glanced through them. Sorry. The objection is sustained.
Wow.
The reality is, Ms. McLaughlin, your relationship with Caitlin Albert is far more than simply somebody that you went to high school with. Isn't that true?
I described what it is.
Do you stand by your testimony that Caitlin Albert is, quote, I went to high school with somebody by that name?
I said that, and I described the relationship numerous times throughout that testimony.
No, you
to
didn't.
clarify it.
And you clarified it under questioning by me, correct?
Yes, and Mr. Lally, he asked follow-ups.
And in fact, you were shown some of these photographs last year too. Objection.
Sustained.
The reason you clarified it as you just testified.
And by the way, the fact that the judge and the prosecutor are working so hard to keep these photos away from the jury, you can only... this is the problem, folks. All you have to do is just let them see it. And it will diffuse the tension. It will diffuse the entire situation. But the problem is, when you keep it from them, now they're like, oh my God, these photos must be implicating this woman. That's why the court doesn't want us to see them so badly. That's why the prosecutor doesn't want us to see those photos so badly. And these photos are now 10 times worse in the jurors' minds. All you have to do is just show them and they'll be like, oh, there's nothing here. Moving on. What's depicted on those photos is 10 times worse in the jurors' minds because they're being kept from them. They want to see them and the court's like, no. And they're just like, what is on these photos that you don't want us to see so badly? Can we just see them? Like, wow, there must be something really bad on them. See what I mean? Just like you're thinking. They're thinking the same thing.
The relationship is because you were confronted with photographs of you and Caitlin Albert last year, correct?
I just answered the questions that you had.
Right, and you were shown photographs last year.
I was, yes.
There's also another member of the Albert family that you've spoken to about this case, isn't that right?
No.
January 30th, 2022, you were contacted by a member of the Canton Police Department to set up an interview, weren't you?
No, I was not.
You remember being contacted by anybody to set up an interview with Michael Proctor?
The state police called me, and I met with two state troopers. I don't know which one of the troopers called me to set up the interview.
Isn't it true that it was actually a Canton police officer who coordinated that interview with you?
I have no knowledge of that at all.
Isn't it true that the Canton police officer who set up the interview with Massachusetts State Police and coordinated that interview was a detective named Kevin? Do you remember that?
I have no knowledge of that.
Isn't it true that Brian Albert has a brother named Kevin Albert on Canton Police Department?
I know that now.
Isn't that who coordinated your interview with Michael Proctor?
I've never spoken to Kevin Albert. ever.
You can't remember who it was that set up the meeting. How can you say with such specificity?
Because it was the state police called me. The state police called me. It was a state trooper.
Can you wait till I'm finished with my
Hold on
question?
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, she is getting rattled. She is getting really rattled. First, she's like, oh, I absolutely don't remember who set it up. Oh, actually, no, it was a state trooper. Oh, it was definitely not a kid. You see the progression? She's artificially creating the story in her head, and she's spitting it out as she is processing. She's manufacturing this as she's going along. This is 100% all fabrication, all lies. She knows the truth, and either she's hiding it or she's trying to misremember it intentionally.
If you can't remember who it was that called you specifically, how can you say with such specificity that you've never spoken to Kevin Albert?
Because I have only ever talked about this case with a state police trooper. So there were two of them there when I went for the interview. I don't remember which one called me, but I've never been contacted by anyone in the Canton Police about an interview or about the case. So I know it's not. I just don't know which state trooper it was that called me.
Did you talk to Mr. Brennan about this issue when y'all met?
No, I did not.
Oh,
Never came up
No,
about Kevin Albert or the Massachusetts State Police or your first interview?
no.
he told her what to say, Brennan.
You remember testifying about this last year?
I remember you asking me about who coordinated the interview.
And now as you sit here, you're saying it was absolutely 100% Massachusetts State Police that coordinated that interview.
It was I only ever spoke to the state police about that interview. I wasn't contacted by anyone else to go in for that interview.
Are you saying that you now have a specific memory of how that interview was set up and that it was Massachusetts State Police?
My only memory is
Do you have a memory or do you not?
Answer the question, please.
I don't really get the question.
Can you
I don't really get the question.
I don't understand the question.
ask it again?
Sure. Are you saying as you sit here now
She's a real
that
thick
you have a
one.
memory
She's a real thick one, isn't she?
of how that interview was set up and it was by a Massachusetts State Police officer?
I always had a memory that it was a state police officer.
Okay.
I don't know which one. That's why I said I don't know.
Isn't it true that last year you were asked that very similar question? Do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you. Come on to Canton PD. He wants to have an interview. Answer, I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up. Remember that?
Right.
So as you sit here, you now have a specific memory that that interview was set up by Massachusetts police officers.
Oh, great question. So last year you couldn't remember, but this year suddenly your memory came back to you. Ah, very interesting. Explain yourself. Answer for your crimes, Katie.
That's the only memory I have of it. And when I said I don't know, you said somebody other than Proctor, and I didn't know if you were referring to the other state trooper that was there, because I didn't remember specifically who called me to come in for the interview. But I've never spoken to anybody in the Canton Police about that interview or the setup.
In fact, Kevin Albert,
I'm aware of that now.
you're aware that Kevin Albert is Caitlin Albert's uncle.
I guess so.
How many conversations did you have with anybody before you actually sat down with Michael Proctor? Either in anticipation of setting up the interview or otherwise?
None. I think once I got the call, I just called my chief that they're asking me to come in, and that was that.
And you got the call from whom?
I don't know which state trooper called me.
But as you sit here now, you're very specific in your memory, it was a state trooper.
I only ever met with state troopers, and no one from the Canton Police ever contacted me about an interview, setting up an interview.
During your interview with Michael Proctor, did you disclose to Trooper Proctor that you had a pre-existing relationship with any member of the Albert family?
No.
Did Michael Proctor disclose to you during that interview that he had any kind of relationship with the Albert family?
Objection. System.
I want to talk to you for a second about your role when you did, in fact, arrive at 34th Fairview, East McLaughlin. How long had you been a firefighter paramedic at that time, January 29th of 2022?
Probably about 5 years.
You said that you had responded to hundreds, you believe it was possibly hundreds of calls, is that right?
Possibly.
How many were homicides?
None that I know of.
So this would be the first one,
Oh, wow.
January 29th, 2020.
Wow.
Yes.
And obviously, if you had never responded to a homicide before, you certainly had never responded to a homicide of a police officer before, correct?
Correct.
I think you indicated as much on direct examination that you are not and are not now a trained detective, is that right?
Right.
You never conducted any sort of a formal investigation called a criminal investigation, had you?
No.
You hadn't been trained, you had no advanced training on how to preserve or interpret statements or memorialize statements for evidentiary purposes?
No.
Or for the use in trial, things of that nature?
Nope.
In fact, your role that morning was just to provide medical assistance and pretty much nothing else, is that right?
Yes.
And you'll agree that it was a somewhat chaotic scene, right?
Yes.
Lots of first responders on scene, right?
Yes.
Everybody working furiously, or at least people working furiously to provide life-saving measures to John O'Keefe, is that right?
Yes.
People were talking over each other. There was a cacophony of engine sounds and noises coming from people talking and trying to speak over the wind and the howling, the driving snow and wind that was coming down, snow that was coming down, is that right?
Yes.
You hear people in the background, in the foreground, people talking over each other.
Yes.
Emotions, your emotions, everybody else's emotions were on high alert, is that right?
Yes.
So you were trying to do your job under pretty intense pressure and in a very limited context, correct?
Yes.
You didn't have a tape recorder with you when you were asking my client any questions, did you?
No, of course not.
There's no audio recording of that conversation you claim took place between you and Miss Reed, is that right?
Not that I know of.
And you've already indicated that you didn't even follow up with a single question when she responded in the way that you've indicated she responded, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because I hit him. Anyway, calm down, lady. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Really? Really? You just brushed it off? Like Jen McCabe was like, oh, you need to calm down, honey. We all know you didn't do it. We all know that it was me. I mean, somebody else that buried, oops. This is getting so old, you guys.
You heard where I hit him, is that right?
Correct.
It's your experience that people under pressure, people under stress, because you go to high-stress situations all the time as a firefighter paramedic, correct?
Correct.
People in those kind of situations speak in broken sentences or rhetorical questions, correct? Not uncommon.
People react differently at, different scenes.
But you certainly wouldn't say that that's uncommon. Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Things of that nature.
No.
Did you hear my client ask the question of confusion, or a series of questions of confusion? Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
I did not hear that.
You never heard her say anything close to, did I hit him or could I have hit him?
I did not.
Ms. McLaughlin, where are your notes regarding this statement?
I don't have any.
A woman is allegedly admitting to murder, accidentally, homicide, potentially, right in front of you, and you're just like, I don't need any notes on that. That's not important. We believe you, Ms. McLaughlin. We believe you. They're there.
There you go.
It's not in the role that I was in, I'm not in a position to write a report on this type of call. It would be the lead paramedic or the officer on scene.
So you didn't write anything down? You didn't have any opportunity to write anything down?
I didn't.
You were just going by your memory?
What?
Yes.
Overly frantic and almost hysterical?
That's the point where your client started to make the statements.
Was she overly frantic and almost hysterical?
She was distraught.
Okay. Overly frantic and almost hysterical. We're using different words. I'm asking you about your words. Does this describe her as overly distraught?
I think that overly frantic and hysterical, I was describing the entire scene.
So you'll agree that she doesn't look overly frantic or
God.
hysterical?
Again, hard to say from a video, but
According to you, well, that's actually, Ms. McLaughlin, it's easiest to say from a video, isn't it?
I was about to say, isn't it easier from a video?
yeah, I mean, she's she's not totally in view, and I mean, she wasn't standing there calmly, I guess.
Right, she looks hysterical to you.
She was upset. She was very upset.
Hysterical?
I might say hysterical. She was extremely upset.
Okay, and this is the point at which Ms. McCabe is saying, calm down, you're being hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it. Pause it. So you indicated that this is the point at which, and we can leave the lights down for a second. I'm going to play it again. This is the point at which you said my client had just said, I hit him. Basically confessing to having hit John O'Keefe, correct?
Those are the statements she'd made.
And Officer Seraph is standing right there, right?
Yes.
You see any reaction from him right there?
No.
I know he turned and told somebody to go get the sergeant. I don't know if that already played. I'm sorry?
Do you see any reaction from him?
No.
He responded, "You what?" And she repeated it again, and then he told someone to get the sergeant.
I know that's what your statement is. I know that's your testimony. I'm asking about the video. Do you see him
Yeah.
reacting?
You
right
lying sack of.
You'd have to play it again. I wasn't looking at that part.
now? Do you see him handcuff my client?
Oh, no.
You see him call anybody over to handcuff my client?
He turned to signal to get Goody down here is what.
So they handcuffed her.
No.
Right? They didn't handcuff her.
No.
Even though she just confessed in front of a police officer, according to you.
That's what she said.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. This woman is confessing an alleged crime, and the officer's like, we'll deal with that later. Not important. Exactly. Oh, my God.
I did it. That's a confession, correct?
She said, I hit him.
And Officer Seraph just stands there, and my client walks away, correct?
You'd have to talk to Officer Seraph about that.
That's not the question.
You should.
Watch the video.
So, let's move on. Mr. Jackson, I'm not rushing you, but how much longer do you think you'll...
Not long.
Okay, so... Okay.
Toward the end of this video,
Are you playing it again, or should we put the lights on?
if we can play it again.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, because she can't pay attention, apparently, this nincompoop. It makes me so furious, you guys. You have no idea.
Pause it. You appear to be writing something down,
I could be.
and according to you, you're writing on your glove.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of glove?
Just a regular latex glove that we use on the ambulance.
You didn't have a notepad?
I probably did. Sometimes it's easier to just write it down on your glove.
Right. Did you write I hit him on your
No, I did not.
Go ahead and play it. Still appear to be writing something down, looking down at your glove?
I might be looking at it.
Can you pause it? Is this also an example of my client being overly hysterical and frantic?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to her.
You can have the lights up.
I love it. I love it. She's just burying herself. Katie is just, she's like, look, I don't care what kind of question you ask. You're not going to get a straight answer out of me. That's it. You're never going to get a straight answer out of me. And the jury has got it. And they're like, okay, so you're a fraud and a liar and we can't trust you. Thank you for letting me know. Moving on. Can we go to the next witness, Mr. Jackson? Or redirect, excuse me. I think we're about to.
Whatever it was that you were talking to Miss Reed about, it was important enough that you had a pin out. You were writing things down, correct?
Well, I was still finishing writing down some of the other.
Yes or
It was
no?
important enough.
Yeah.
You write things down. Yes or no?
Yes, I wrote down some of the things that were said.
Some of the things that were important, correct?
Yes.
So for instance, you write down John O'Keefe. That's his name, right?
Right.
You might write down a circle with a slash through it. Allergies. No allergies, right?
Right.
You might write down 46 for his age.
Right.
You might write down how he was injured, hit by a car, correct?
I did not know that was. Well, I didn't know what those statements meant.
You might write down 3 little syllables that was just told to you. I hit him, especially if it had been repeated 4 times as you claim, correct?
Yeah, I had that in my head, and I was going to go tell them that.
And you had a pen right in your right hand writing things, correct?
Yeah.
You never wrote that down.
I wasn't going to write that statement down on the glove. I remembered that and I went back to the ambulance and told them.
Oh my God, she looks so guilty. She knows. She knows she's lying, and she hates herself for it. You can tell. It's written all over her face. She hates herself for it, and there's nothing she can do because the Alberts have their dirty, dirty claws sunk so deep into this woman, and she's a willing participant. There is no Nuremberg defense for this woman. I was only following orders, Your Honor. After this is all unearthed and they're all going to prison, she is... I don't think she's going to go away necessarily. I think she'll probably cop a plea deal when this is all over. I don't suspect that she'll actually serve any time, but her complicity is going to earn her a criminal record and a dishonorable discharge from EMS, Emergency Medical Services. She will no longer be a firefighter or an EMS technician, EMT. And I feel nothing for this woman, just like she feels nothing when she stares at Jackson. Whew, chilling. Very chilling.
You did memorialize that statement on any note that we have, correct?
No.
You didn't memorialize that statement on any glove that you were wearing, correct?
No.
Whatever you wrote down on that glove, where is that now?
Yeah, I don't have it, obviously.
I don't know how obvious it is. What'd you do with it?
You just scratch everything out and you throw out the glove.
Just threw it away. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yes.
that yes?
Yes.
So we don't know what was actually on or not on that glove, do we?
I didn't write those words down on that glove.
As we stand here, we don't know what was or wasn't on that glove.
Name, date of birth, no meds, no history, no allergies. And then I wasn't writing that statement down on the glove. I went back to the ambulance and just reported it.
And importantly, it was important enough, as you say, to go back and report the statement, but not important enough to write it down with that pen that's very conveniently in your right hand, correct?
It's not about importance. It was, I was relaying that information to the ambulance verbally. I didn't need to write it down.
And you, in fact, didn't write it down, did you?
No, I didn't make a report about it.
And you're also aware that not a single police officer out at the scene wrote that down either. Objection.
I love it!
Would show you part of your testimony from a prior proceeding. Was he leaving something out when he was showing you that, asking you questions?
Sustained.
When he asked you about whether you knew Caitlin Albert, and you said you went to high school with her, did you immediately then answer questions describing that relationship?
Correct.
Watch the form.
Were you asked immediately other questions about the relationship?
I explained the relationship over and over again throughout the testimony.
By the way, for those of you following along, once again, this is the redirect by Brennan to try and rehabilitate his absolutely demolished witness. There is nothing left of her. The jury doesn't believe a single word she's saying at this point, folks. Not a single word.
You tried a relationship over 20 times, didn't you?
I'm sure it was that many.
You didn't simply just say, somebody named Kate. I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert. You didn't leave it at that, did you?
No, I didn't.
You remember saying, I would say more acquaintances, not close friends?
Right.
You remember immediately saying after that, I would say we had mutual friends. We might see each other occasionally because of mutual friends, but we don't have a one-on-one friendship or hang out regularly?
Right.
Notice a change in tune. She is finally answering questions that Brennan is asking directly. Right. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Why didn't she do that with Jackson? Oh, because you trust Brennan because you know that he is in on it. You don't like Jackson because he's trying to get to the truth, so you can't answer his questions directly. Oh, thank you for the clarification, Ms. McLaughlin. I really appreciate you.
You remember many more statements after that initial answer where you described the relationship.
Yes.
Similarly, you were asked about a meeting with the state troopers,
Yes.
and the attorney asked you a question about your memory or suggesting that Mr. Albert set up the meeting. Remember those questions?
Yes.
You were asked questions just like that before at the last hearing, weren't you?
Yes.
Who cares?
Asked about who set up the meeting, and you saying that you didn't recall.
Yes.
And then you remember being asked about whether a completely different officer set up the meeting, and you said, I don't remember exactly how it was set up,
Yes.
followed by, so that was my next question. You may have told me this. Do you have any recollection who set that interview up, and you said you didn't?
Right.
And you were specifically asked, does the name Kevin Albert sound familiar?
Objection.
Do you remember saying no?
The objection sustained.
Do you remember when you were asked at the last hearing, does the name Kevin Albert sound familiar? Do you remember what you told Attorney Jackson?
I told him no.
And then you
Of course, he gave away the farm. He already told her what she needs to say.
then asked, do you know Kevin Albert? Do you remember your response?
I said no.
When you were there trying to help the gentleman that was on the ground, did you know this would become a homicide investigation?
No.
Did anybody tell you this was?
Wait, hold on. How is that possible? A woman has just allegedly confessed to you, in front of Jennifer McCabe, in front of an officer, and you. I hit him. I hit him. I hit him. I hit him. Oh, it sounds like an accident. In her head, if that was the case, she would think, okay, this is one of two scenarios. Either it was an accident or it's going to be a homicide. Instantly is going to go through her head, anybody's head. And she's responding, oh, I had no idea this could potentially be a homicide. This woman is either extremely stupid or she is extremely deceptive. Me thinks it's a combination of both.
Homicide?
No.
In fact, when you spoke, or the defendant spoke to you, you were simply trying to get background information to help Mr. O'Keefe. When she told
Objection
you,
leading.
I hit him, did she say that she hit him with something?
No.
Did you know whether it was with a fist or a foot
No.
or a Lexus?
No.
You mentioned this was not part of your role to investigate. Why didn't you persist? Why didn't you follow up and ask more questions about that statement? What about the situation and the dynamics caused you not to ask questions?
Yeah,
Why
it's speculative.
didn't you persist in getting more information from the defendant when she said, I hit him, I hit him?
I felt bad for her at the time. It was a very disturbing scene, and I did not want to
What?
push further down that road. It's not my job, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
It's not my because criminals deserve to go free, because I felt bad for her. So, I mean, let's not arrest her just yet, folks. Let's give her some time. Is this woman serious? Yeah, let's let her breathe some more oxygen. No, you would be arresting her immediately. The reason you didn't arrest her is because none of this happened, and you're making it all up after the fact to match Jennifer McCabe's timeline.
No.
Then how do you remember she made those statements?
I won't ever forget those statements.
Okay, now we come to the final piece. The recross by Alan Jackson of Katie McLaughlin. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. And if you need a lawyer, 1-844-774-HURT. Folks, buckle up. It's short and sweet.
Anything, Mr. Jackson?
Very briefly, that was a disturbing scene, you said. Okay?
Yes.
An emotional scene.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A scene that was upsetting.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Yes.
For a lot of reasons, right?
Yes.
And that's when things start getting missed. When emotion starts playing a role, correct? That's when details start getting missed.
I guess it depends on the situation.
Right, but this was a disturbing, emotional, upsetting scene even for you, correct?
I felt that for a civilian to see it, it was very disturbing for them.
Probably wasn't great for you either, was it?
It's not.
Yeah. And your testimony is you never heard my client say, could I hit him? Did I hit him? Correct? You never heard that.
I didn't hear those questions. No.
What you heard was, I hit him. Is that right?
I heard him. I hit him repeatedly.
And changing gears for a quick second. I'm almost finished, Your Honor. You did ultimately start talking about your relationship in more detail with Caitlin Allen under my questioning, didn't you, after that first date? Is that right?
Yes.
That's when I started showing you photographs, correct?
Objection.
Was that when you were seen showing photographs?
I don't know. I've described it so many times. I don't remember.
But you knew I had information that I was going to ask you about.
Objection.
Assisting.
No.
Objection.
With regard to Kevin Albert, did Trooper Proctor tell you during that interview that he had texted with with Officer Kevin Albert about setting up your interview? Did he tell you that?
I have no knowledge of that.
Did Trooper Proctor tell you that the reason we're here, the reason we set this up is because Kevin Albert texted me that he had already coordinated with you?
Never, no.
Absolutely devoured, destroyed, annihilated, eaten alive on the stand. Even better than the first trial, folks. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable stuff. I love Alan's Cross. And Katie deserves criminal charges for her behavior, her perjury, her deception, and her complicity in the cover-up of the murder of John O'Keefe by the Albert family. I will leave you with that, folks. We'll see you this evening with some more Kevin O'Hara. Bye, everybody.